Call regular council meeting to order October 15th, 2024 at 7 o'clock. 115 East 4. Any additions to the agenda?
I'd like to add to new business, discussion about the post office mail drop-off box.
Second.
Got a motion on the table to amend the agenda for the post office. Is there a second?
I gave you a second.
Oh, Aaron made a motion, Aaron
I second.
seconded it. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. Will be added to the new business.
I'd like to add an executive session for non-elected personnel for 7 minutes.
Second.
Got a motion on the table and a second for executive session for 7 minutes for unelected personnel. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. Will be added to executive session. Any other additions?
Pam,
Yes.
you're gonna put EcoDevo under old business. Can I just talk about that when we talk about county or city clerk stuff?
That's fine.
Okay. That's all I got, Mayor.
Okay. Moving on. Any citizens here that wants to make a comment? Let it show there's no citizen comments. Moving on, I'd entertain a motion for, under consent agenda, approve the minutes of regular council meeting October the 1st, 2024.
Make a motion to approve the regular city council meeting for October 1st, 2024.
Aaron made a motion on the table to approve the regular council meeting,
Second.
and Aaron Gleason seconds it. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. I'd entertain a motion in appropriation ordinance 101524 AP in the amount of $112,342.04.
Make a motion to approve appropriation ordinance 101524 AP for $112,342.04. Second.
We got a motion on the table by Aaron Raines. We got a second by Mark Bryant. Any more discussion? Another council? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. I'd also entertain a motion to approve EBH and Associates $11,000 engineering service for a 5th Street project.
I saw that on your notes. You want to say anything? I understand it, but okay.
Are they gonna send us like monthly bills of their time or what's?
That I'm not sure. I had emailed out
Okay.
checking updates on the survey, and I haven't heard back. So I will, when I heard back, I'll ask him that as well.
Were we expecting this?
Yes.
Were we aware of it? Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was in the original
contract.
cost. Yeah.
Make a motion to approve EBH and Associates for $11,000 even. That's for engineering services for the 5th Street project. Second.
Got a motion on the table by Aaron Raines and a second by Mark Bryant to approve the $11,000 to EBH. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. Now, I'd entertain a motion for petty cash, amount of $261.70.
Make a motion to approve petty cash, the amount of $261.70.
Got a motion on the table by Aaron Gleason. Is there a
Second.
second? A
Second.
second by Aaron Raines. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. Department heads. Moving on to electric department. Curtis.
I got nothing.
Don't have anything. Does council have anything for Curtis pertaining to the electrical department? Let it.
What's that?
Well, in my notes, the contract with the Foley, I have to apologize. I totally misinterpret what that contract was about. So, we did not sign that contract. Me and him are going to look around to see if we can get a better, maintenance contract elsewhere before we revisit. If we can, then I would still like to get that contract signed. I just wanna see if there's better options out there first.
So they don't even offer a once yearly maintenance plan? That seems ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So I just don't think twice a year is what we needed,
Okay,
so.
all right. That's the only question I have for the electric department.
Any change on the Fairbanks? So that's
Still waiting on them to get back here.
okay.
They're in Australia right now.
Very good.
If no further questions for Curtis, we'll move on to Water Department. Jason, you have
Yeah, I got
anything?
a couple things on water. Do you guys have this right here in this letter?
Yes.
What that pertains to is a, water rights that we have on number, 37110, and it goes to well 6. That's why I highlighted this one. Right here on this page right here. And she was telling me that, the perfection period's coming up for that. And we have, our total, water rights under that well is, 76 million. And they want to take off 11,100,000. And I was looking at the numbers, and she sent this to me for me to understand. And if you look at that column, well 6, all the way down to the next page, which is this one, we haven't even used anywhere near that many gallons on these two, and that'll follow down this one. And if you look at those, and then there's just nothing that we've got any close to that. But the thing of it is, if we decide to do this, and you want to fill out, there's a piece of paper that we have to fill out. If you want to try to keep that 11,100,000 gallons on this well, and we have to file $100 by December 30th on this letter that you're reading, and we have to file that before that and come up with a very good reason why we need to keep that water right for that well. And so that being said, I was looking at the numbers, and I don't see why we would need to even keep that 11 million extra, because that'll bring it to 65,884. And so that being said, if you look down through there, and I talked to Ned about it, and he says, yeah, the numbers don't lie. And so that's why he says, if you guys want, and if we want to not do anything about it and let it take that 11 million off, we just let it go. And she sat there and told me that she is behind anyway, and we could keep pumping it, and for a year, whatever it is. And then, after a year or two, that she'll have this where we can't pump over that 65 million gallons. But we've gotten close 1 year, and that's the closest one we've got.
We went over in
Well, you don't wanna
2012.
go over.
Yeah, don't wanna go over, yeah, and we're way under going over that. And I just wanted you guys to look at the other wells there too, that's why I printed this out for you to see how far we're under that. And the main reason I haven't pumped this well at all in the last year or this year is because I'm still waiting for Rosencrantz to come in and get that smaller pump and to get it down to the bottom of that well, so we're not pumping so many high nitrates. And that's why I've just been turning it on maybe once, 3 times a month, just to use it, keep the water going,
I know nothing about this, so I'll defer to you guys. What percentage are we under pumping?
As in per million gallons a year.
What percent? Yeah.
Oh, without looking, I mean, you can look on this and see at the bottom of the page. That's what.
We used 17
And on
2020
2020
last year.
you can see what on the. But as far as looking to tell you exactly what the number is,
I was just curious.
Without looking at my yearly reports, I couldn't tell you offhand.
So what's long-term repercussions if we?
Well,
So,
unless we plan, the way I look at it, if we plan on getting a considerable amount of people here in this town, then that would be your leg to stand on.
See, that's what I was thinking about understanding this. If we're kind of looking at growth,
Because
once they take it, can we get it back?
No,
You can't.
No.
Okay.
no,
no, they're not gonna give it
Yeah.
back.
not
Is there-
not
okay.
with what everything's going on.
Yeah.
Around.
So-
Yeah,
So-
they're gonna cut back.
Well number 6 is the only one in question for this right
Yes,
now.
that's it.
And why is well number 6?
Because that's the perfection period for this well. Is what I'm getting out of what I talked to Elizabeth about.
What's a perfection period?
Is
Just
it-
a term?
Is it like an MDS well?
MDS well?
Yeah, an MDS well is like a well that was like a water right that was granted, but like if there's a water situation, it can be taken away.
Well,
Is that not what this is?
I
Like
I
an
don't
old
think
water
so.
right?
I don't think so.
Like-
no.
Like old, you,
Like a water right that may have been given out in like the 1980s.
right,
Yes. They, for some reason, the city wanted this extra water right, and they got it for well 6.
Okay, so
And it never did come, it never did even, show up on the paperwork, the gallons that we have even used near that much.
but we banked water for, we
Mhm.
banked water, right, for, can you bank it?
As in banking.
Like-
See, you have to help me with this term, 'cause
Say-
You
Like,
can
say water, you
underuse
can-
so that you can
you
overuse
can-
in
you're
future
right.
periods.
Like, if you don't use the amount, you can bank so much to the next year.
I'd
Or
have to-
you
I'd have to
can, or
ask
you can
her.
buy, like, then you can buy back if you need.
I'd have to ask her on this one.
I know that there's some farmers that do that where they'll overuse in a drought year, but then they'll have to go on a 5-year period where they underuse because they overused a year. or
Well,
something.
let me ask her on that.
I guess my concern is if we're being forced to do it, if there's repercussions for not, I mean,
Keep it.
I would go kicking and screaming trying to keep all the rights that we got.
I agree
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
I mean, because they're not just gonna fold back and give it back if one of our other
No,
wells
they're
goes
not.
dry and we need it.
Nope.
And
They won't.
your town doesn't have water, you don't have
You
people.
don't.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So.
that, I
That's
mean,
where
I
I
don't
was
know
going.
the whole story here, but
You
that's
wanna
my
fight for your water
instinct. That's
Yeah,
my general
definitely.
instinct is
Keep it.
keep it if we can.
So it costs us $100 is what you're.
Well, it'll cost
we'll
$100,
have
but we
to
have
have
to
a-
come up with that reasoning why the chief, Bob, what did I say that was? The
You have to
chief,
have a, reason that you're gonna think you're gonna need that water. I
right,
understood
it's
it.
to the chief water person
Water
over there.
deal or Stafford.
And, we have to come up, and like it says down there, even if we're denied it, then we don't get the $100 back too.
No,
So-
they can
$100
still take
is-
it.
I know,
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
that,
I say
but,
Try to keep it.
I would
Yeah.
suggest try to keep it.
try to keep the right.
okay.
The only thing is, what are we gonna come up with? How many people's, the port down
Port
here,
authority.
is there an estimation on how many people that's gonna employ?
6, what I heard.
Yeah,
I
I've
could
heard
be
less
wrong.
than 10.
Yeah.
Is that gonna use any extra water
I don't know.
that would come from the city, that we might pipe to them? And I think it might be a beneficiary to check into the dairy over South Centerview. How many people's there might be some people who live here that drives back and forth,
Mhm.
if they could find a house. Now, that dairy over there is gonna take a lot of water.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I
Where's
don't,
that at? Is this the one?
It's north of Centerview, about 5 miles. If you go, south on Centerview Blacktop, it's about 5 miles south of 50 Highway.
talking about south
It's
of
in
Lewis.
between Belpre
It's
and
not
Lewis.
south of
Oh,
Lewis,
okay.
it's between, it's
Between
between,
Belpre and Lewis, going
Yeah.
south.
yeah, yes. It's on that Centerview Blacktop. It's about 5 miles south and 2 miles west on the southwest corner of the intersection. I've been by it 3 or 4
There's
times
gonna
and
be a
looking
lot
the
of
deal over.
employees there, so,
That's gonna be a big facility.
yeah.
And they've excavated a whole section of ground and
In fact, they claim there's gonna be 175 trucks in and out of there a week.
Okay.
it's like 40,000 cow dairy. Yeah, that would be another concern is, right now a lot of our residents have wells on their property. And so there's a lot of water usage that's not being accounted for through the city water, that if our water table was to fall and those wells started going dry at people's houses, our city water use could be double this if people start losing their wells and go back to city water for the things they're using that they're their own wells for. I think that there's a lot of water use that's not being accounted for because we have the benefit of everybody having wells in their backyards. I would do whatever we can to keep our rights.
I think
Do
you'd
we
be
need-
very smart doing that.
We just don't know what's gonna happen over the next,
It's just too hard to predict.
I mean,
When do
They-
you need to know by?
End of the year.
Okay, so we can table this and talk about it.
The aquifer
Next.
runs east to west at an angle, my understanding. And if they would happen to get to pulling a lot of water over around Kinsley, Centerview, that could very well affect this aquifer here. And they could drop that 6 foot. They're gonna use a tremendous amount of water.
Okay.
I think it'd be very smart to try to hang on to it. Don't you, Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aaron?
yeah.
'Cause I'm
I
trying to keep
mean, I'm
I
not
agree.
trying to make a decision.
No.
I said, don't you agree that
Can't
you
do
Yeah.
ought to try to get
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
we
get
We'll
that.
get
You know,
together.
there's a
And then I'll
bunch
have
of
to get him
drilling
to
going
sign
on
it.
in Wichita right
We,
now.
I have to
we may
get
not
Bob
be
to
able
sign
to
this
drill.
paper, I'll bring it with
Well,
us.
either.
It goes with this.
Yeah,
one.
you
If
are
they
true.
put a hulk on that,
Bible,
and what's that
yeah.
gonna do? It's gonna pull the city water,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think we have a
Hayes
duty
is
to our
taking the
citizens.
water from Kinsley. You're pumping a lot of water out of this aquifer. That's going a long ways away.
Make a motion to table it till next meeting. Talk about it some more.
Yeah, start
Second.
looking at that
Get that-
application.
Maybe we get that letter drawn up
Yeah,
before that and everybody could read it.
yeah, start working on a letter. Yeah, it's gotta be tight. Gotta be well written.
It's gotta be.
So that young man that made the presentation,
Yes,
Warren.
he is over at,
is he,
Aaron is over there at the water board. At
Is he a-
Stafford.
could he be an advocate to let us
Yeah.
know how to write this to get it?
He would be a good resource, yes.
Okay.
What's his name?
Warren.
Roaring?
Warren.
Warren.
Yeah, he would be a great resource.
Warren,
I got his email, so I'll
He's
email
a
him.
sharp guy.
I can't remember his
I didn't-
last
I
name.
didn't catch his last name.
Farrell, that's it. Any more discussion on the water rights? We got a table, we need a motion to table it?
You've got it.
I've got a
You
motion.
second,
Do I
right?
hear a second? Second by
Right here,
Mark,
yeah.
to table the water rights. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0.
Okay, on the next one, real quick on the sewer part of it. Out there on the dikes, the sewer dikes, there is some old sprinklers out there. And I was wanting to know if you guys would care if I got rid of those. Because they're all getting to be rotted off. Dale's hit a couple of them and just barely bumped them and they rusted off. And, I got some work to do out there. The dirt is built up way past the concrete and I want to take a grader and a few things out there, but it has sprinkler heads all around each of the dikes. And it's just a booger to do with all them pipes out there. So that being said, I like to just, either one, probably some of them, half of them will break off and the other ones will sit there and we'll have to take a pipe wrench off because it's metal underground so far. And they brought them up out of that from a pump that we pumped sewer water out on the grass. And since I've been here, I've used it a couple times, but I find it a lot easier just to test the sewer water and discharge it into the creek. And so this way I could sit there, our dikes are getting pretty bad. They're getting to be cracked really bad. And the gentleman that came out from the state said we need to get to working on this, and that's been a couple of years ago. So it's time that we need to get in there and get this going. And get those fixed, and because I'm gonna get the backhoe out there, we need to start peeling that dirt off and instead of making a big dirt lip like this, I just wanna make it nice like that, like it's supposed to be way back when it was built, back in the 60s.
Were we required at the time to put that irrigation system out there? Or is it,
That's way before my time.
do we need it currently?
I don't use it.
I know we don't use it.
The pump's gone, I need to get it, if we're gonna keep this, we're gonna have to run new pipe anyway. And, cause leaks are just all over when we kicked that pump on, back when it did work. And
So we're not required by the state or?
No,
Oh, okay.
this was just a benefit
Got it.
for,
Got it.
yeah,
Well, at one time, go ahead.
No, this is up here,
yeah, out north,
up north.
yeah.
At one time, there was some discussion about pumping that water in the creek, if I remember right. And they were talking about doing away with that, not letting us do that anymore.
Who's they?
The state of Kansas
KDHE or
Water
something.
Department, sometime, KDHE maybe.
Well, a lot of towns now are building extra ponds so you don't have to discharge.
Yeah, I think that's what they,
But
I think that was the conversation,
Do we
what I
have room to do
remember
that?
about it. That's
right
been a
now,
long time ago.
Nope.
Have to
So
find
far,
out
we've
where.
been doing it and getting by with it.
So could you just do what you need to do and then we just put a new, how involved is putting a new irrigation system in?
Well, it's just like you do a yard. It's just that
Is it-
small. It's just has the ones on the top. That's it.
You can get that portable one.
But eventually, if it's iron, it's gonna have to be replaced
yeah,
anyway.
it's beyond that point.
Okay,
So the main thing I was wanting to do, if you guys are in no big hurry to do it, I still, when it gets up, I need a discharge, I send it into the lab to get tested, and then fill out the, 3-month report every 3 months, you know.
Yeah,
quarterly
you have to
report.
like, you have to do all the paperwork that you're discharging it and everything.
Mhm. Yeah, each every 3 months I gotta send it out, no matter if I discharge or not discharge.
okay.
But all I'm asking is if I could just get those out of there, get my dirt work done, get the cracks, try to start getting the cracks filled slowly.
When you say get it out, that means completely remove the system?
No, remove the dirt that's on built up, so, cause from what I understand, they built that in the 60s. So all that wind and all the grass and everything's just built up like your yard does, but except
Right.
this one's about this tall. In some places, it's over a foot tall. And so with that being said, I just wanna go in there with a backhoe, start scraping that out, get the grader, start peeling that dirt back off that dike, and then get that dirt out of here and just take it back out here or a good dirt pile and just use it for something else.
Okay, forgive me if
That's what I need, but those sprinklers are, from here to the middle of the street, just all over the dikes.
I mean,
So
if we don't
it's hard to
use
mow
those
it.
sprinklers, I don't think that's a problem. And if it
And
need
if I
to be
figured if we did
replaced-
need it, then we could always put PVC back in the ground and then put some steel pipes sticking out of the ground. Galvanized pipes.
I don't have a problem with it.
I was just wondering if you're gonna if it's damaged and if you're in there and when you're excavating, just whatever you hit, just,
Yeah,
Take
if it
it
comes
out.
out, if it
Instead of
comes
leaving
out,
it
I'm
there.
not gonna worry about it.
okay.
So that's all I have, and that's what I need to know if I can do.
Would you go ahead and make the motion? Cause I don't know where you're talking about
I
or the
don't
name
really
of it.
think you need
Oh,
a
it
just needs
motion
consent.
for
Yeah,
that.
good.
Yeah, that's
I
all
consent.
need, yeah. Okay,
How about everybody else?
Sure, why not? Sounds good.
okay,
You got it.
that's all I need.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Any questions for Jason? Has that been discussed? Police Chief Tori.
I don't have anything really except for, the truck parking. There's been a couple of nights where it's filled up, so I just told people to park at their houses. I don't know where else to tell them to park, so.
What about the co-op parking lot?
Well, they have to get permission before they park out there. Sherry likes them to get, like, you're talking at, like, shortstop?
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes them to get permission before instead of just parking there. So,
How do you guys feel about that? My first thought is that's gonna be a problem. Cause they'll just say, oh, there's no parking, we parked in the front of the house, and how are you gonna police that?
well, I checked before I
Oh.
told him he could, so.
Okay. I would. Instead of just giving them yeah, go ahead and park at your house, I'm thinking maybe call you so you know, so not to ticket, or dispatch, so you know not
And
to
they do,
ticket them.
anytime there's ever been issues, they always call,
Dispatch?
Yeah.
Okay.
or they call me, so.
What do you guys think?
Cause I know most of them now that park down there just cause of things that have happened, I've kind of like familiarized myself with whose trucks are whose, they pretty much all park in the same spot, so,
That's working well.
yeah.
They're used to
But I
routine.
think when we first got it, not everybody was using it, and now there are more people who are using it. There was one guy that wasn't before, and I told him like, hey, you can't park at your house anymore, and he's like, oh, okay. So if he's loaded, he parks down there. If he's not loaded, he just parks behind his house. So I don't know, there was a couple of trucks down there that, I don't know where they came from. I don't know if it was just somebody passing through or what, but they took up parking spots over the weekend and there wasn't any more spots, so.
How many is full? Is there like 10 slots?
There's enough to fit 14th and Parker, right?
That's the problem,
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes
that's
they
what I,
don't park
Vehicles in a row,
the
too.
way they're supposed to, so. And we did move our dump trailer to make sure that we
More
moved
room.
it somewhere else to make more room.
So do we need to mark it somehow so they utilize the space properly?
I don't know
I just-
anything about parking trucks. I
Yeah,
actually
I
had
don't.
someone have to explain it to me because I didn't realize I thought there was way more parking spots than there actually was. So I'm not gonna comment on that because I don't drive a semi and I don't know what it takes to park one and how much space they need and all that. I just know that it was an issue and it was the weekend and I was just like,
You
just
made
park
it,
at your
so-
house, we'll
yeah.
deal with it. And I called Pam to let her know just in case you guys
Saw it.
saw it and I was just like, I did tell them that they could because.
Is the idea that you could park on either side of those poles rather than pulling through between them? Or,
Got enough room for two of them and, pull it by.
yeah,
The problem is if somebody comes in from the opposite direction, it screws the other guy.
yeah.
And that,
And there is one
happens.
truck that does it occasionally.
Let's say, can you, like, just like a spray can, just like mark the asphalt kind of in a rough area where it's supposed to be?
I'll put another roll in, but whoever's in front of them is gonna kinda screw the other guys up. If they
Yeah.
don't leave at the same time.
Would it work if we made it a one-way system so they're not
Most
just
people
marked?
do, most people and guys do, It's not really too many problems yet. But they always got the
And then-
possibility with that Port Authority coming in and getting more trucks too, so.
Yeah.
and it's surely just the weekend, cause there's some of them that are gone all week.
Well, we got the same consistent 6 down there
yeah.
every day.
That
Yeah.
night, yeah, and then there's probably 2 or 3 more that come
I
on
don't
the
know if there
weekend.
is a line truck down there. I don't, there's the blue.
I guess my concern is we went through this much trouble for getting this ordinance. I think we need to do whatever we can do to make it so we get 14 spaces, and then if we need to grow. I'm just thinking of, it could get out of hand. And I realize you had to make a decision, and I'm okay with that. I just don't want it to get out of hand.
I just didn't want Pam to have to call the city guys back
Yeah.
out there and move stuff around or call people.
Yeah,
It was just, and he wasn't loaded, so I was just like, that's fine.
yeah. Just take it under consideration and see if it happens again. Or how you guys wanna handle it? I think marking parking spaces should be done, so they know. If somebody that doesn't park there all the time, they know how to pull in there and park.
Or maybe create a map or something of how they're supposed to, because I still don't even know if I fully understand what it's supposed to look like or
Okay.
who's. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought there was way more spots than there actually was, and I was like, well, I can't park right here, and he was like, well, then this person can't get out, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that being millings too, it's gonna be hard to keep marks down.
Yeah, they're not gonna stay for long,
Yeah.
not at all.
Well, I drove down there and somebody called me and said there was something going on down there, and I didn't really understand
I
how
mean,
it worked.
they've all been reasonable, like, when I talk to them, like, none of them are, like, mad or anything, they're just like, I don't wanna get in trouble, there's nowhere to park, what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
And, but I also understand, like, some of them not wanting to park out at shortstop because there are random people who come through here and they're leaving their trucks there. Some of those guys stay in their truck. I mean, we drive down there, there's trucks that will run there all night and they have people in them sleeping and they're from out of state. I mean, and yeah, shortstop has cameras, but down there on the north end, it's really dark, you cannot see down there.
I think Keesling had some problems down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, stealing fuel and stuff.
yeah, so, I mean, we've had people down at our truck parking, they go there in the morning and their cabs are wide open. I mean, nothing has been stolen, but still people
yeah.
are they're trying to.
Well, does anybody have any feelings about it besides me? No.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, we want to accommodate. We changed the rule, and so we spent quite a bit of money to give them a nice place to park.
Right.
But it's also, I don't know, how much is it the city's responsibility?
I mean, if you have.
We've done quite a bit to
Yeah, but we still
accommodate
have to
it.
give them a place to park if we're not gonna let them park in town. I mean,
Well, truck stops are.
Yes and no.
Yes and
Yeah,
no.
I was gonna say, when truck stops are full, they just
I mean,
have to look somewhere else to park.
cities don't give,
Legally.
cities don't give people a place to park their RVs. You have to go rent a place out to park your RV, so.
but we don't have anywhere for them to rent though around here.
There's one up there by
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be unempathetic,
Yeah.
but we've gone out of our way
I'm
to
just
create
saying,
a lot
I
of
would
parking,
feel bad,
so-
I wouldn't feel right for ticketing somebody if they, when they park down there all the time and they come in one day and there's nowhere for them to park. That's why I'm telling you guys, like, I wouldn't.
No, I don't think you did
somebody-
anything wrong by telling them it was okay for the weekend.
I mean for our people that live here and they use it, and then sometimes when they come in and just, they're last to get in and there's nowhere to park. Like I
Yeah.
said, the 2 trucks that were down there that I don't know where they came from, maybe they'll never come here again, maybe they're just passing through, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing too, it's
I
not
think-
meant for that.
And it's not meant for that, and I think it's too, I think when we were building it, right when I was on council, just started, it got floated out that we're gonna see how this goes, and then maybe there's gonna be a permit system that doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then that would allow, or not allow, for someone passing through to
Yeah.
take up a spot, and you always had your spot, and so maybe that would solve the problem.
It's
Is
a good
like,
idea.
your spot is number 1 through 14, and then if somebody moves into town and needs a new spot, maybe we talk about, okay,
Waiting
well, where
list.
can we expand it out?
Right.
But then we know that they're St. John citizens, that's who it's built for, that's the taxpayers that help pay for it.
Right.
You know, it's not meant to be a
You would
truck.
describe your truck, so
Yeah, yeah, and you put your permit in the window or whatever, and then,
That's
You would have a
actually
spot.
really good idea.
and maybe it covers the
I think
electricity
that would
that's
help
used.
too,
You know,
within
it's
parking, right, because
40
this
bucks
is
a
your
month,
stall.
or
you
whatever
have to
the
park here.
electricity gets used,
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
it is.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be much
It
either.
doesn't have to be crazy,
Yeah,
but it reserves your spot, and then,
$20 a month or whatever.
yeah, I don't know what's reasonable, but.
It'll cost about $30 a meter, or $30 a plug
Yeah,
In the winter.
in the winter.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
25 bucks a month for the year. or
yeah, I was
something.
gonna say summer would be covered, like, you know,
It's
30
about
bucks a
$1 a
year,
day.
so, yeah.
To plug one in.
I'll look
I'm
into
just glad
that.
people are actually using it, because
Yeah,
at
it's-
first,
yeah.
there was like 2 trucks down there, so.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad that it's being used,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
if that's the problem is that not a St. John non-resident is using it, well,
And
that's
I'm not saying they're
much
not, I
for-
don't know who they were,
Sure.
I've never seen
Right.
it, so they could be, I don't know.
But I think we built it for the citizens of St. John.
Yeah, like I said, they could have been from here, I don't know
Yeah.
whose truck it was, I've never seen it.
Sure.
I would think that the Port Authority, when that gets lined out, they'll have truck parking down there.
Yeah.
Cause they'll have a lot of trucks in and out.
It'd be similar to Bartlett.
So, when you have a permit system like this, is there something legally we have to do? If
Just
this
have an
becomes a
ordinance or
policy?
something?
Well, I mean, yeah, we'd wanna mark, you know, lots permit parking only or something, and then have the permits and probably a little agreement with the folks that
Owners.
get them.
So do we wanna move forward that way? I think we should personally, just handle this
you
now.
know,
Well,
I'd
then you
like
just
to
start it on the first
monitor.
one.
Yeah, I would say January 1 or something.
Yeah.
Do a permit for 25.
That way you give people time to adjust, it's
Thought you were gonna
changed,
say
more like
Well, if
changed.
it's not filling up, I don't know that the permit thing's necessary. Unless we want to collect revenue back.
I think it's less about the revenue
It's
and
more
more about
The space.
solving a problem before it becomes a real problem. Because if you're doing it from behind, then it's hard to catch up to,
You're being proactive.
yeah, just proactively saying, hey, we see there's a possible problem here because it is filling up. It's not full completely yet all the time, but let's go ahead and create a solution for it.
Well, and people living in the town would have the first
Yeah,
opportunity
right,
to park
absolutely.
there, because they are paying taxes on.
Right.
Something else we might wanna think about. If we get a bad snow, is the city gonna remove the snow down there?
I don't know how you do it on the millings without messing it all up. Since they're just loose.
cause them trucks will go. If we don't do something like that, then they're gonna hire people to open it up, probably. That's kinda off the subject, but, not off the subject, but off the beaten path.
I mean, I don't
Well, I
know that much
guess-
about pushing snow, but I would think it would mess the millings up.
Unless it comes in and rains a lot and then freezes real hard.
They don't get
And
skating.
then it's not,
They don't have skating rink.
I was skating, yeah.
Well, it's,
That's a bridge we're gonna have to
yeah.
cross.
I was gonna say, I
And you
don't
can
know,
make sure we clear, the
entrance
two,
and
the
exit,
roads
Mhm.
there, but the actual lot itself might be difficult.
especially if there's trucks in there.
But if you've got trucks in there that can't get out, then you've got another issue.
And they can help dig out, I guess.
Get a long tractor from across the street.
Anything else, Tori? Okay.
Any other discussion for Tori? Fire Chief, Mike.
I don't have anything.
City clerk.
City Clerk.
What I have is under the old business, but you wanted to talk about Eco Devo, don't you?
Yeah, I just wanna, I was looking for last month, just the monthly report. And we didn't have it, but this year, this meeting, we got the annual report, which I was pleased to see that 2 houses are completed. And are they gonna go, does anybody know if they're gonna go get listed and through a real estate company or?
I don't think through real estate.
Probably not, because then you have to pay them and
But-
then you lose out on revenue.
The one house that's finished in St. John,
Mhm.
is listed at 185. And the open house is Thursday,
The one down on,
2nd Street.
yeah.
On
On the
the
north side.
no garage,
On the north
Oh,
side.
the no
I
garage.
thought that was more than that.
They,
I heard 190.
well, 193 is what it took to build, but they posted on Facebook for 185.
Oh, so they're posted. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's an open house on Thursday. The only thing that threw me off, I looked back at our contract with them, and the way I was remembering all of our discussions was that there wasn't gonna be any income restrictions on these houses. But it was posted on Facebook that it was moderate income and there were age and income restrictions on purchasing the property.
Oh,
I didn't think
And
of
that was news to
No,
me.
we
I haven't had a
made it.
chance to call Ryan. I've been
Yeah.
meaning to, but I have not had a chance to call Ryan and ask him about it. So I don't know if that was a typo or that was news to me because I thought it
I
was.
don't remember anything.
Yeah,
They
neither
just
do
said
I.
if they didn't sell them, they could rent them.
Right.
And he did, and I could pull it up and read exactly because
Why don't you do that?
he could have I could be misunderstanding. He mentioned that there's a potential lease option where if you lease it for 4 years, then your lease goes towards a down payment, so then you can get a mortgage, so that you don't have to have the down payment to begin with. And maybe that program has income restrictions, but
but that wouldn't help solve the problem that we have as far as the market goes, because then it's limited, the
Well,
size of the market that we.
I think he's saying, I just say that it might be that buying it that way has income restrictions,
Oh.
but maybe you could buy it traditionally without income restrictions, but,
Well,
it's.
with that clarification, it needs
I
to
don't
be
know.
clear.
I was just saying, I could be wrong. So Stafford County Economic Development is going to be having an open house October 21st from 8 to 11 a.m. on the house that was just completed on 303 West Morrill in Stafford. I thought there was one on St. John House.
There is
Okay, here,
two
yeah,
places
okay.
then.
So October 17th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So that's this Thursday. on the house that was completed on 413 West Second in St. John. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,100 square feet. Price will start at 185,000. We will be offering to sell this house on a 4-year lease option agreement. This house is in a moderate income program, and therefore there will be some income restrictions for the purchase of the house. We will be sharing details the day of the open house. If anyone is interested in discussing the purchase of the house before October 17th, they can contact Ryan Russell at these details. Please stop by the day of the open house and see how EcoDevo, your city council, and county are investing in housing. So that was news to me. I went back through and read the contract, and there was nothing in the contract about age or income restrictions on these houses.
I think we talked about that, and he
And
said
I
no.
thought I had asked him directly on when that, I mean, I wasn't part of signing the contract, but when he's come in the past, I remember asking that question, and my understanding was that there was no restriction. So, like I said, I apologize. I meant to call Ryan yesterday or today, and I just didn't have time to get that clarification. But
Well, I'll reread the contract. I don't remember it that way. There was in there, if they can't sell them, they can lease them.
they did
Or
mention
rent them, excuse me.
in the contract, it mentions that EcoDevo has built similar housing for moderate income rentals, but nowhere in the new housing portion of the contract did it mention that they would also be restricted. But maybe it doesn't have to be within the contract with us. It doesn't say that they weren't, but it doesn't say
Yeah.
that they were. And I thought we had asked that question, and there wasn't supposed to be. But
I mean, the only thing we got, and correct me if I'm wrong, is what's in the contract, not what was verbally said, right? Before the contract was signed.
I still don't think we
Generally
should back
that-
out because
yeah.
we are in contract with them. That
Yeah.
doesn't change my opinion of that. But I just wanted to bring it up that it was posted that way on Facebook, and
Right.
that's the opposite of what I thought we had discussed.
Generally, what's in the contract controls, unless it's ambiguous or it's not clear what the parties meant, then you can try to bring in evidence outside the contract to show what the agreement was.
And even if that was our understanding, I don't think that if they're getting money from federal government for moderate income housing, we're not gonna have a leg to stand on that says you have to sell it to non-moderate because they're gonna lose their $1 million from federal. We're dropping the bucket in the program, so.
Well, I guess, we're dealing with what we're dealing with. I just would like clarity so there's no more little surprises. And not that this is a good or bad, it's just something we weren't expecting.
Right. I'll talk to him tomorrow, and I'll send out an update after
Yeah,
I talk to him.
as well.
And the only, I drive by those houses once a week, and it sort of looks, I mean, I know since the last meeting, I spoke to the contractor, said there was a hang up with the HVAC, some issues getting some stuff in, and now we've got doors and some siding up on the side. I just think a report would be like, well, this is where we're at now, and we're waiting to put, right now I would assume the electrical's in, the plumbing, next thing is drywall, and just to let us know what's going on. Because before these houses were sold, I know for a fact the contractor told me that there was a punch list of about 8 things that were just cosmetic. And I'm just thinking, when are we gonna put these on the market? What's going on? So I was pleased that they're done now. And the punch list, if you don't know what a punch list is, it's just a list of things that need to be done before you put it for sale. So that's what I'm just asking. And that was in the contract, is that he'd keep us updated monthly. And I think when he was here, I'm not gonna do it, but if you want me to, I'll go back through the recordings. And he said, oh yeah, I'll give you the same thing I turn into the state every month because they wanna know where we're at. And so, I just like things to be delivered that he says he's gonna deliver, and that's all I'm asking. That's all I really like to say.
We're supposed to start on the drywall next week. I was over there today.
Oh, really? Okay.
I will put it in my.
Yeah,
South side of the road.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they
they
make
got it in.
decent
They
progress.
got it.
Yeah, the houses, I like the houses.
They
I'll
started
put it
growing.
on my
The ones
to-do
across the
list
street are
to,
nice little houses.
Send him a little reminder before I put the council packet together.
Okay.
I'll do that, just so we have the report.
I got a little question. If they sell that house for $185,000, where does that leave the city? As far as the money that we've put in to build that house? Where's that money gonna go?
We
I
don't
think
get
you
it
asked
back.
that. We don't get
No.
that.
We don't
No.
get
That's
that.
just like the contribution we make to the,
It's-
Yeah, it goes
it
back.
It goes
to
back
the
to us?
development.
No,
it
it stays with
to
EcoDiva.
Okay,
Yeah.
or whatever they do with it. We give them the money and
We'll
They do
collect
what they gotta do.
utilities and property taxes, some of the property taxes
That's the
back.
only thing we're gonna get out of it?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I just making sure.
But EcoDiva is a nonprofit, so it goes back into their housing program. In,
Yeah.
in an ideal world, this would be the starter fund, and they could just keep building nice houses that were affordable. But the reality is, it costs so much to build that they're probably going to take a big loss on each one, and then the money's going to be gone, and the houses will be built, and that'll be it. So,
He did mention to me that so far all the houses that he had built, we are coming under what they projected to spend. So
for the county or for the city of St. John? 'Cause I've
no,
asked that.
for
St.
their
John.
project, for the whole project, not just for us, you know,
Oh,
because
okay.
the fund was for the whole county, for all the towns that they're building. So far, I think there was 1, 2, 3 houses that are built and ready to be sold. And those are built with, it came, like the end expense came under what they projected to spend. So I guess that's
Okay.
hopefully a good thing.
Anything else for Pam? No other questions, we'll move on. Danny, you got anything for the council?
I don't tonight.
Council got anything for Danny? Any questions, legal advice or anything for the city? Moving on to old business. Property code violations. 518 West 4th, 101 East 5th, 406 East 1st, 112 South Monroe.
I talked to Doris about the South Monroe one. She is going to talk to her husband and her kids and see, to kind of say, hey, I need the updates since the car wash done, but what's your plan for the house? They're gonna get back with me sometime before the week's over.
Any more discussion about the houses, guys? City council?
I don't have anything.
Moving on. Anything on the Fifth Street Road by White Food Liner?
Not yet.
Okay. Council, got any questions on that? Okay, moving on, 2024 housing violations.
So I'm hoping you guys have time to review the list that was presented at the last meeting. I kind of have a second thought about not proceed on with some of the improvement list. You know, I don't know that if I were to be like, hey, like, where are you at with this? I don't know how much result I'm gonna get. Like, would I get a better result if I were to just send an actual, like, letter that say, hey, we're proceeding on with it? Would it be a better, I don't know, a better way of lighting the fire under them to be like, oh, hey, they're serious about getting this, I need to get this done, instead of me calling them and be like, you know, hey, let's get this done. So I kind of
Just
have
refresh my memory. We've called them before. Have we already sent
we
the
sent
letter?
out a informal letter that say, hey, your property is in violation, we want to inform you that it's in violation. But the actual process hasn't started yet, and I thought maybe an actual process might really be.
So traditionally, we have sent letters to violators where we know there aren't occupants. That's mostly
We did
true.
both.
Well, I mean, I know we did here, but like the tear down list has always been vacant homes because if my understanding is correct, if someone's living in it, the city, I mean, you'd have to get KDHE involved, you would have to
Right,
get,
because then they'll be homeless.
because you're taking someone out of their home.
Yeah.
So I guess what, is it fines? Is that the end game for if they're out of violation and don't fix it? Because we probably aren't going to go down the road of tearing someone's house down that they live in. I mean, that's not,
Yeah,
that's the end game for the ones that
Are
are in
empty.
violation and empty. We can fix it, but we can't really do that if they're still living in it.
That I don't know.
Yeah, didn't you say last time it's like you get them in front of the judge for a hearing?
So, I mean, the end game is to correct
Correct
the
the
violations of the
violations,
housing code, or, you know, if it's not correctable, to remove a dangerous, unsafe structure.
Yes.
And so if somebody's living in there, I mean, ideally, you'd get them to correct it. But if not, I mean, you can go through the process and get it declared unsafe and unfit, and get an order for them to vacate it. Again, that's fairly drastic, but that's,
Yeah.
I think we've sent letters before, they've just always fixed it. Do you remember? I remember like when I first was on, we had a couple that were
Yeah.
living there, they did fix it, or
We
at least
did.
to a minimum standard, and we
Right.
went on.
Yeah.
But most of them are abandoned, but I remember a couple, right?
Yeah, the houses on 2nd Street, I believe, I remember that. We sent a letter, we had to stay on them to get it fixed, but they did get it to where it's met the code. Yeah, they didn't do anything extra, but I think in the past we do work more with property that are lived in more than like empty properties, but that's totally, I mean, up to you guys how much
No,
you
I think
want.
it makes sense, and I mean, we don't want to kick people out of homes that are being lived in.
Right.
That's not.
Just my personal opinion, I don't think phone calls, I think it needs to be documented, send them a letter, and just say, just checking back,
Well,
something
yeah,
nice.
no, I didn't mean phone call. I meant like an actual process. Because to start an actual process, you have to send it certified. They have to sign it, and then they have 10 days to neither request a hearing or get the violation corrected. If not, then we will proceed on with the abatement process. I just think that maybe an actual certified letter might be better than just hey, here's a letter that say, hey, you can make some improvement, let's move along, you know. I just, yeah.
Well, this sort of leads into another conversation that's on the list about code compliance officer opposed to a code enforcer. But it's almost, and I said the last meeting I'd call Pratt, Stafford, wherever the state hospital is, Larned, all their code compliance people are the building inspectors. They don't, it's the same. They do it together. Stafford, actually, it's the police department. They said one guy seems to have taken the lead on that. It's just something he took over. And so I really don't have anything like, if we were to offer a position, what it should pay.
Well, I
Yeah.
have an idea that I would like to run by you guys.
Go ahead.
So we obviously have a city inspector. I was thinking about compiling a list of violation within our code, you know, just like an easy, okay, yard violation is this, you know, weed violation is this, and have a list for the guys to keep, because they're out there every day around town, and if they happen to drive by and see it, oh hey, this property is in this violation, they can let me know and I can go out and take pictures instead of me spending 4 hours driving around town. You know, that would save me some time. They're already out. I didn't know if you guys open into trying that, and if it works out, then we save money on hiring somebody else, you know, since our guy's already out there. And it's not like it's gonna be much more work for us in here to create a letter and send out and do all of that stuff.
When you say our guys, are you talking about department head
Well,
doing it opposed to just
I mean,
all personnel?
I would say if a employee is out there and saw a violation, they can either report to their department head
Yeah.
or me.
But they're not gonna have, yeah, okay.
Sure, yeah, like
Say
all of
the
them will
authority of
be
the actual job
right.
cannot
All of
be
them,
convoluted between. It needs to be one
Right.
authority.
Yeah.
so it could just be like, okay, the official
They're gonna be getting information for you.
and yeah,
Then you'll be
they're the
taking it.
information gatherer, and then everything will come through my office and go out. So I didn't know if you open into trying that just to see how well it worked. If it doesn't work, then we can go about different way.
Let's say it's worth a try.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
To see how it works. Because right now, for you spending 4 hours out there, no.
Yeah, and I don't want
Appreciate
to.
you doing it, but it's the whole point is we're trying to. You can just delegate some of this stuff out.
Right. And in the summer, we do, check yards twice a month. So maybe in the summer we can make it to where like, okay, when you're checking yard, you check property too. Whoever's driving around looking at yards. So summer's covered. Winter might be a bit tricky, but we're not too busy to where we can't just, one day go out and look.
Yeah,
So,
I'm okay with that. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
so we'll get that started, and the junk vehicle, the first letter that I have tried and sent out, they actually removed the vehicle. I have to give them a couple more days past the deadline, but they did remove. So I think that letter worked really well. So we definitely going to be start enforcing the junk vehicle here shortly. So
It'd be nice. I know if you somehow could track it, like how many violations did we start out with, and see when the bell curve starts coming down,
yes,
and just so we know.
yeah.
Because it seems like when I drive around, it's just like, where'd that pop up from? I mean, it's just like it wasn't there the other day.
There are certain property that are constantly in violation. Like we will send them a letter to clean up their yards, and then they'll clean it up for 2 months, and then it's go back to the way it was. So there are some that we constantly have to do that. And I was gonna talk to Danny to see, because on our weed violation, we only required to send out 1 letter a year. And if, like, let's say you got a letter and you keep it mow until September, and then you didn't mow it and it's in violation, we're not required to send you another letter. We can just go mow it. So I didn't know if we can make the other violation like that to where we send out 1 letter a year, especially the junk violation, because it seems to be every month or 2, same property, acquire more junk, and it's everywhere, and we start all over again.
Are we talking junk or are we talking vehicles?
Junk.
Are they together?
Vehicles
and
are, I mean,
They're,
they're different.
I mean, they're both under like the health and welfare, but they're separate,
Okay.
separate sections of that.
I definitely want to get the junk violation to where like 1 letter a year, that's it. And if you accumulated this again, then we just go in and clean it up, and or give them a ticket and be like, hey, here's
Don't
ticket,
tell the
you come to
judge.
court.
Yeah.
For that, because I think people definitely take advantage of us having to constantly send them a letter.
And then on that same note, I just think as a council, we need to know that's going to continue to happen. We just need to pace ourselves and know there's going to be multiple same people doing the same thing, and that's why we do what we do, because not everybody does what they say they're going to do.
Right.
Part of living within an organized society.
So, what do we need to do to
Well, we'll
do
have
that?
to revise the ordinance, and then we'll have to bring back to the table, and you have to pass it. So
Do we want us? What do you guys feel about that? Starting that, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's all I have for the housing. Oh, well, I guess what,
Yeah,
do
we
you guys
say
wanna
this
go
before
ahead
I
and do
forget.
it? Yeah.
What did we ever do with the towing thing with the tire shop? Is that all updated? The new contract?
Oh, SNS, I need to check with him. That's actually kind
Yeah, I
of
forgot about that.
slipped my mind, so. Let me get, I'll give you
That just came to
updated.
my mind when we were talking about cars.
Yeah. So.
What were you gonna say before I interrupted you?
We
Um,
didn't come to a conclusion.
yes, on that, can I go ahead and proceed on and just start the process on all, whether it's some improvement or no improvement at all? And then we can weed out some of the property, like the one on Southwest Street. It looks like they completely gutted everything. They put the new window and doors in. That might be a property that we might give them a little bit more time to do, but I definitely know owners on the list of some of the improvement, they'll push it to the limit before they start fixing it. So
Yeah, that's okay. Let them do it. We'll just
yeah,
watch 'em.
so I think starting the process for the both lists, and we'll deal with it case by case might be the best. So,
Hey, Pam, is that Southwest, is that trailer house?
yes.
Yeah, they did good. That looks good.
Yeah. Obviously, I think they only work on weekends, so it's gonna take them a while, but
That 205, you said?
yes.
Yeah, they're gonna be alright. They got insurance stuff.
Yeah.
Well, something on that.
Do what?
Let's-
I said they at least painted the property, it looks better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Something, anyway, this is sort of leads into this, but going to that annual conference thing, you just talk with other people in cities, and they all go through the same stuff. But one gal, she was a mayor, I forget what town. I'm trying to find the notes, but hold on just a second. They have, you know how we have the community, what she found in her city is people that are in this situation with a bunch of stuff, they don't have the means to take care of it. They know it needs to be done, but they don't necessarily know the avenues to get help. So they have the Community Assistance Day, where people in the community just sort of help people get moving. And she said they do it once a year, and it seems, just to help people get stuff out. And that means the guys with the city come out with a dump truck, and this would, just an idea, I know we do the whole thing when you set it out to the curb. Well, these are the people that can't get it from their house to their curb.
The
So-
school does have
Yeah.
a community day.
Yeah, we have
Do
a
they?
community,
Uh-huh.
they had a community service day where they
In
have,
conjunction
people
with
Yeah.
pickup day?
yeah, they
Oh, okay.
coordinate it with the city, and,
I didn't know
people
that.
can sign up
Yeah.
for that, so.
Yeah, so anyway, I just remember that. So I
Yeah,
thought I'd
and
mention
they start doing that, and they make sure to call us, and they usually do it the week before our cleanup week, so that way everything's out and we pick it up for them. I think last year they painted like 2 houses and clean up like a couple yards, and yeah, it's a neat program.
Oh, yeah.
And a
to do.
couple of the people said they had to put they give us bring a container, but they had to put it behind a fence because then people would come and take the stuff, and the people don't, it just keeps recycling stuff, like what we
Yes.
run into, with people going around and digging through stuff, so, just an idea.
Yeah, we can always do a little bit more on the community day, since the kids are doing it. Maybe some of our guys can also help provide, like, maybe the dump truck, the loader, or whatever, just to help make it more improvement, I guess.
Yeah.
So we can be involved in this as well.
We don't have to decide it, I just throw it out as an idea.
Yeah. I do need to, I need a motion to remove the code enforcer off the old business though, if you guys wanna try what I,
I'll make a motion to remove the code enforcer off old business.
Mo- Motion by Aaron Raines, second by Mark Bryant and Kyle Aaron Gleason. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0.
Yeah, I had made a motion to talk about the post office box on the sidewalk. My understanding through the rumor mill, it's not through the source of the post office themselves, is that basically it gotten hit 2 or 3 times in the last year, so they removed the drop-off box in the alley to the sidewalk. I've heard from quite a few citizens that are unhappy with it being on the sidewalk. It's much less convenient to get out. One citizen said, isn't it illegal to put stuff on the sidewalk? It's an obstruction. So I don't want to go the nasty route with the post office, but is there anything that we can do as a city to say it's not allowed there, it's not per our code allowed to be there? That's the way I read it anyways.
Oh, you read the code?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
13-110, I don't know, it says 111. There's no obstructions of the sidewalk, containers, benches, you know, and then there's an exception where you can get a permit to do so.
So they
I
can
guess
apply for a permit.
It just
to put
seems a little, I don't know. You
I
can put a
see
barricade
about
up,
the
you can
conveniency,
do,
though, with some people that can't get out, I mean, that want the drive up.
yeah,
They
the
can
drive up
drop-
is very convenient.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who use it daily almost,
Mhm.
and it's, you know, I get it, it's 10 steps.
It kept
You know, you
getting
can-
hit, that's why they moved it.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was saying, but I mean, put up a couple pipe barricades.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Didn't total a vehicle.
Well,
One of
so-
our vehicles.
Well, then, you shouldn't hit it. I mean,
The concern that I have on that is that like we do have our stuff that are also on the sidewalk, you know, the benches, the
well, I
flower
don't wanna
pots
start a
and stuff
nasty
like
fight.
that, and
I'm just
that's
saying,
the
what can
thing.
we do as a city,
Yeah.
because I think it's a convenience that has been stripped
Yes.
away, and many people have.
What were the, was that, I've only used it a few times, is that the one you pull down, or is that the one that has
It's
the arm that comes out and you
The
just?
one on the sidewalk is a pull down. If you put more than 2 letters in, it gets caught. Even if you walk up there and use it, it is terribly frustrating.
So they're hitting it after it's been stuck out?
No,
Or
but the
how
one in
they-
the alleyway was one that had the
Yeah.
one on.
Oh, the arm.
That one got like totaled, a big like shredded truck backed into it.
Oh, nice.
Like, that's why they didn't have one for a while, they had to get a new one.
Is there
Yeah.
anywhere of moving it that it could still be allowed to drive up and drop your mail and not be hit?
I don't know, I just know why it was moved, and
Yeah.
why we have a new one, cause the other one, we did the accident control, and that's what it's like.
Sure.
Can you move it to the south a little?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I mean,
Can
it's
they
not our
go
property,
on-
it's not our business. I don't know how much authority we have, other than just to say, hey, the city's been getting complaints about this. Is there something we can do? Come up with a solution.
I would think they ought to be able to put it on the south side of the property to the post office and just slide it south.
Right,
Yeah.
that's kinda what I,
I'll stay out of the way.
Well, and I'm sure that there's people in the oil field business that would give them some 6-inch pipe that they could put some concrete in.
I'm sure they could.
I don't think it would be hard to find some barricades.
I just
to
think where it
protect
was, like, so like the UPS truck, the FedEx, like all those big trucks, they come in and they back in right there, and it was a very narrow, and like it kept getting, it would get bumped, and it wouldn't like, but then that one truck came in and just completely smoked it, like. So, yeah,
There is
it does need a new location.
A time or two, it's gotten hit by the postal department delivering
Yeah,
mail.
yeah, I'm sure.
They pull in the livery stable and back right into that post office box. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't a problem where it was.
Yeah.
I've heard from quite a few citizens that are like, "What happened with that? That's
What?
BS." You know, like, what are we doing
Put it in
here?
your mailbox and put your
It's
flag
been
on
there
it.
50 years. I don't know why you'd wanna move.
the thing.
Well,
that
it's
is-
different when you've got a business and you're sending out 50 checks at a time.
Pam, do you think you could talk to, I forget the postmistress's name, and just see, Whitney? I mean, what's involved with them moving it? What I'm thinking is, why not move it to the grocery store? I mean, that's the focal point where people, it's not the same place.
It's convenient for the post office to be there, obviously. for
Right.
them.
Well, I know,
But-
the mail,
It probably has to be on federal property.
it doesn't.
Well, I mean,
I'm
you
just
go to
saying,
Great
like,
Bend or somewhere, it
yeah,
can
Pratt,
sometimes
It's
they're at
everywhere.
Target.
Dillon's.
Or are they?
Yeah, I mean, they've got them all over the
Maybe,
place.
maybe ask them if they would move it more to the south in the back, that way it's still there, people are used to going there, and then if they don't wanna do that, then find out their
Maybe we-
suggestion.
Yeah.
Would you guys be open to doing the labor for them? I mean, just to help them out, just so, I mean, it's a give and take thing, like, can you move it? We'll put the pipes up and move it for you, bolt it down, whatever you gotta do.
I mean, if the pipe's donated to us, I don't see it would be that hard to put those pipes in. Correct me
no,
if you're
no,
wrong.
I just, I was, I don't, I think
This
we
is your
have-
baby, Aaron, you brought it up.
I'm just saying, I don't know how much authority we have as a city to tell
Well,
them,
let me-
outside of just saying, it's come to, as far
Uh-huh.
as the city council, to have this discussion.
Pam will
This
take
is
care
not
of it.
just-
She's the velvet hammer.
The velvet hammer.
Do I have to be?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
I
I'll
think the
talk to
city is
her.
willing to,
Yeah.
I would say the city's willing to help make it happen, whatever that is. Because,
Yeah.
Maybe
Even-
they might decide to go with the putting it out at White's idea. Who knows? Who knows
I'll
what they'll-
suggest that too, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah, White's would be a good spot,
Yeah.
or even if that's too narrow of an alley, maybe there's a better spot, just even, I'm trying to think of how our square's set up, is there a better spot that doesn't have parking that would have enough room to pull in and
I
drop
mean,
off just on
this
the big
corner right
line?
here is available if you wanna put one in. The corner right here,
Just
east
try-
of our office.
Like where people could drive through
Yeah.
that way?
I mean, it's available, it's ours, if
Yeah.
they wanna put it.
Yeah, I mean, you could even offer it to say if it's a concern of
And it
that,
would be
the
under
city's willing.
surveillance too, there's
That
cameras.
is true.
What about the parking lot by the old leisure?
Parking lot by Old Leisure.
Oh.
Where?
Street.
but what, we don't know.
It's on the opposite side of the road though.
Yeah, yeah, we don't do that.
You need to have it on the side of the driver's
Right.
door.
Okay.
So you can
Got some
drive up, and drop it
suggestions.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, I think just bringing it up and seeing, I think there are plenty of people, even in St. John, that would be willing to donate time or effort to get it back to. So, I
Okay.
think that's a service that our town wants. It seems from my experience.
Yes, I'll get this rolling and
Okay.
I'll send out an update.
Do you have anything else on the post office box? Moving on. You had the executive session,
Me.
Aaron, right? Introduce or entertain a
Motion.
motion.
Who do you want in it?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Usually Aaron takes care of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'll make a motion to go into executive session for everybody at this table and for 7 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel. For 7 minutes. Okay.
You want 7?
What time?
7 minutes, yeah. To return at
8:20.
8:20.
I need a motion, I need a vote.
Got a motion
Second.
on the table to go into executive session.
Second it.
Second by Mark. Any more discussion? All in favor?
No, yeah.
All opposed? Council meeting back to order.
If you want a couple
No
of
executive
minutes.
session.
Yeah, 2 more. What, 2 minutes? Do you get 5 minutes,
At least make
please.
five.
Okay, 5
Not
minutes.
too bad. 5 more.
Council meeting back to order. Now we're going back into executive session.
We have to make a vote.
Oh,
I'll make a motion to go back into executive session for everybody at this table for 5 minutes to return at
26.
8:26.
Second.
Back to this.
It's 8:26 now.
Yes.
No, that's when we're
Going to
turning
26.
to
Got a
discuss employee or
Non-elected.
non-elected personnel.
Motion on the table here, second. Second by Mark Bryant.
Right.
Motion by Aaron Raines. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0.
You guys good?
Yep.
Okay.
Out of executive session, back into regular council meeting. Unless there's anything anybody at this table wants to discuss or talk about that hasn't been on the agenda, somebody make an agenda or a motion to adjourn.
I'd make a motion
Adjourn.
that we adjourn regular council meeting October 15th, 2024.
Second.
Motion on the table, motion by Aaron and second by Aaron Raines. All in favor? All opposed? Council meeting's over.